This is the pure edges first method for solving the Rubik's Cube. It uses just one 4-turn sequence to solve the entire cube. It starts as many other methods for solving the Rubik's Cube by making the white cross. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the yellow face the front face and the white face the back face. Then I'm going to look in the front face for some pieces that belong, edge pieces that belong in the S layer. And I colour match those pieces with their respective centerpiece and turn them into where they belong with that 4-turn sequence. There's another one. One's already placed. That sequence does not affect the white cross. Now that we've solved the 4 edge pieces in the white cross and 3 out of the 4 edge pieces in the S layer, the standing layer, it's time to solve the last 5 edge pieces. In order to do that, we need to create this scenario where 3 of the yellow edge pieces are orientated on the yellow face. 1 yellow edge piece is located in that gap in the standing layer, and the piece from that standing layer is the other piece on the yellow face. After we have that scenario, the last edge pieces are easily solved by just performing one last sequence. Sometimes you need to perform that sequence twice. Here's an example of something you might get. We've got one yellow piece orientated here, and there's my gap. I would move that around until I get as many yellow pieces involved in that action as possible. Perform my cycle a couple of times, and there I've got my T-shape and my yellow piece in the gap. Once you've got your desired setup, which is the yellow T-shape on the front face and the yellow edge piece in the gap, you reorientate the cube so that the yellow on the edge piece in the gap is sitting on the front face and the T-shape becomes the U face. Then I'm going to orientate the U face so that these 2 pieces becomes involved in the cycle. And watch what happens as I do the cycle across there. You'll notice that I can use that arrangement of the pieces to cycle the pieces around. Now that's how I'm going to solve the placement of these pieces. This is the situation that I'm after. I want 2 pieces to be solved and 1 piece unsolved. You'll see that if I turn that around there, these 2 pieces are solved and this is not solved. That's the setup for one last move that's going to place all of those pieces in the correct spot. If I store those 2 solved pieces here, and I apply my sequence now with the incorrectly placed piece here, the edge piece that belongs in here there, and the other edge piece in the gap here, I'll be able to cycle those. When they become orientated, everything will be placed. Let's just check that. what I'm going to do is I'm going to align this far edge piece that's not involved in this 3 cycle across here with its matching colour. Then I'm going to notice that this piece needs to be green because I want to solve 2 and leave 1 unsolved. So if I move that back there, this has to be green. If I cycle those pieces around until that's green, then I can have a look and see if, just to check to see if that last edge piece is solved as well. And because it is, I'll have to reapply my sequence to change this front colour. It's now blue. This piece needs to be red. It is. So I can put those 2 solved pieces on the back, perform my sequence, and I'm solved. The other circumstance you might be faced with is this, where you've got your T made out of your yellow edge pieces, but your other yellow edge piece that's in the gap is on the left hand side. Now in that case you would just move your pieces like this so that they line up across here, and notice that your green piece is matched here and this piece needs to be orange. So if I now turn that matched green piece to the back or away from this cycle that I'm going to be making across here, and do the cycle left-handed like that until this one here becomes orange. Now that it's orange, I'll check. That one's gone in blue. That means I'll have to replace this one with another colour. It's red. And I've got green. I'll twist those 2 to the back out of the cycle. This is the cycle across here, remember. There's the 2 that are matching and the one that's not matching. And we're solved. All those are matched. With this situation where I've got 4 yellow edge pieces orientated in a yellow cross and some of the side pieces misaligned, I just hold the cube so that one of the sides is as the front face and perform that sequence, and I'll get my desired result. In this case, those 2 pieces have aligned as I want. Turn them to the back, perform the sequence, and all the pieces are solved. I spent a fair amount of time on those last 5 edge pieces because, like a lot of things with cubing, it can be easy once you know it, but it can be a little bit hard to learn. I'm not going to spend as much time on the corners because I've already done the beginner's method, and the last part of the beginner's method explains the corners quite well, or the second lesson. All I'm going to show you is that I'm going to reorientate the cube to do them, and do them a little bit quicker or a little bit easier with your finger movements because of that reorientation. I'm also going to show you another sequence that I didn't go through in the beginner method. So what I'm going to do is look for a piece with white on it in the front face, and I'm going to line it up with where it needs to go and do the sequence 3 times. That's going to place it but not orientate it. I'm going to look for another one now. Placed but not orientated. I want to do 3, and so I've got 1 more to do. On that last piece, I'm going to look at what colour it is. It's red, green, so that needs to go up here. I'm going to do the sequence backwards to pull pieces up. The one that went down was orange and green. And the last thing I'm going to do is orientate my pieces. I'm going to look for two pieces the same colour that are on my right hand side, the same colour as the front face, and I'm going to work back this way now. Like I said, this is all in the beginner method, so if this is confusing to you, please look that up. Again, on my right hand side, and again on my right hand side. The last thing I'm going to show you that I didn't go through on the beginner's method is that this sequence is a 6 cycle in total. You might have picked that up by now already. I'll just run through it. There's your 3 cycle, and then 3 more in the same direction brings the cube back to its original state. So if I have 3 pieces at the end that are unorientated, on the same face or not, but on the same face, I'm going to do it now. For example, there's 3 pieces on the same face unorientated. I can use my cycle 1, 2, 3 in the same direction to solve that situation. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the edges first method. To finish this off and show the potential of the method, I thought I'd put in a solve at the end. It's by no means a speed solve at 1:30, and there's plenty of look time in there. I just wanted to show that the method's not really a tedious method.